Hi, welcome to English 1A, Composition. My name is Samantha Cragg. You can call me Miss Cragg, Professor Cragg. Welcome to Online English. For our first lecture, I'm going to talk to you about the content of our class, the syllabus, the schedule of events or the schedule of assignments, and then we're going to end with sort of guiding you through your first set of assignments. So the content of our composition class this semester will focus around a driving question. The question of how rhetoric helps move communities towards social justice. Questions like, how does justice happen, right? How does a just law or a just action happen? How do things like equality and fairness happen? Can talking about these issues, can writing about them, can creating art about them actually make social justice happen? I found a lot of great articles, essays, book chapters, advertisements, artwork for us to use throughout the semester to talk about these issues and really explore this question. Now, every week we're going to have a discussion, or at least almost every week we're going to have some sort of discussion, whether it's on a wiki or in a social forum. It's always going to be through Moodle, and eventually it's going to move to your own blog. We'll get to that later. But in these discussions, I'm not looking for you to agree with my opinion or to try to figure out what I want you to say and then just say it. I really want sincere, genuine discussion. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with and what you end up doing with this content, with these discussions in your essays. There are some things, of course, that I do want you to learn and sort of parrot back to me. MLA format, right? The structure of an essay, the key terms, like the rhetorical elements from your textbook. So these are the things that I will be teaching you, right? Elements of composition. The content of our compositions are going to come out of our driving question, out of your discussions, your sort of ideas. Something else I'm excited about is how this class will operate, the ways that we're going to share our ideas, the ways that we're going to share our essays. We will be using a digital format, right? This is an online class, and we're going to use that format to our greatest advantage. So I'm going to try to use all of those tools the best I can. Our book supports this really beautifully, so it works really well for this sort of an online class. We're going to post discussion forums to Moodle. Eventually we're going to move our blogs or create blogs on WordPress, and we're going to move our discussions to WordPress. Each of you will create your own WordPress blog. Don't worry about it right now. There is a YouTube tutorial, and it's going to kind of walk you through it. Once you start this blog, you'll post your own essays on it. You'll post blogs, images, maybe articles that you find when you're doing your research, right? All sorts of sort of interactive, multimodal kind of things. Let's see. You'll also post, I think I already said this, the final drafts of your essays to the pages on your WordPress. So it's going to elevate you from a position of just being a student, being a writer, to being an author, right? You may or may not know the textbook that we're using. It's Everyone's an Author. And their very first sort of opening chapter talks about the difference between being a writer and an author. You are authors. You will be authors this semester, not just writers. Let's see. The really fun thing about using WordPress is that you can add images, videos, links. You can do all sorts of really great stuff. If you're like computer illiterate, don't worry about it. You don't have to. I'm not going to force you to, but I want to give you that opportunity to have sort of more interactive essays once we get there. It's weeks away. Let's see. For the most part, I won't ask you to do anything complicated because I'm not that great with computers either. It took me about an hour to set up my WordPress page and learn how to post images and videos, and how to edit blogs and create and edit the pages. So I imagine it'll take you approximately that much time, maybe a little faster if you're better with computers than I am, and we will discuss that later. Alright, before looking at the syllabus, I want you to take some quick notes on annotating. So if you don't have like a pen out, some paper, go ahead and take that out now. What I want you to do is, well, basically learn how to annotate, right? So you're going to read with a pen. When you're annotating, how do you annotate, right? You read with a pen in your hand. And like you have a pen, right? Or a highlighter. And as you're reading, write things down, right? It's as simple as that. So you can highlight key points, right? Maybe you want to highlight the topic sentence or a main idea or a really great quote, right? You can write questions, you can write reactions. Maybe you're blown away by something and you want to put like a blown away face, or an exclamation point or something, or you don't understand something with a question mark, right? Or write a question. Whatever it is, right? Sort of write comments in the margins of what you're reading. Summarize each section at the end. Write other symbols or markings that allow you to interact with the text. For example, you might put brackets around a section and then maybe number the stages of a process or something. We're going to sort of practice annotating with our syllabus. So if you don't have your syllabus, print out your syllabus, right? It's on Moodle. You're on Moodle because you couldn't watch this video if you weren't. And so print out your syllabus. I have mine printed in color because I think it looks nice, but obviously you don't have to print it in color. You can print it in black and white. It'll be just fine. And what I want to do is just go through our syllabus. I'm not going to read it to you because I know you can read yourself. I'm just going to point out some major things, and what I'd like you to do is maybe when I say something that's not written on here but that's about the syllabus or about the class, you can write it down or highlight things that seem really important, like due dates, things like that. So here's our syllabus. The first thing I want to jump to is what textbooks and materials do I need? Alright, so you need Everyone's an Author, right? This is our class textbook. It's a really good idea to have a dictionary. So I have this one. I have much bigger dictionaries, but you probably can just get a standard dictionary. You need things like highlighters, right? Pens, pencils. What else? Flash drives. Right? Flash drives. Even though this is an online class, you still need your standard sort of folder, right? Folders, things to write in, to take notes in. You will be taking notes, right? Something to keep your notes in. Right? Nice little folder here. I print everything out for our class, and I hole punch it and put it here. It's a really good idea to do that yourself. It'll keep you organized. Let's see. What kind of work will we be doing? All sorts of work. Readings. The readings will be a lot from your textbook. I will put things on Moodle. Every week there'll be something on Moodle that you'll have to print out and read. Maybe some PowerPoints, some lectures. Some of the lectures will be video like this. Others will be just typed up lectures. Formal essays, you'll have 3 kind of long essays. Weekly participation, so you'll be on here every week, not just like once at the beginning and end of the semester. You'll need to create and post to your own WordPress site. It's an online blog. And you will need to do some supplemental learning in the Success Center. Now, for those of you who never leave your home, it's okay. You can do it online. I think the best thing to do is to go in and actually do your supplemental learning in the Writing Center, but you can do it through, it's called COW, C-O-W, Chafee Online Writing. And when you open up your Moodle, you have our class, and then under that or above that or somewhere right in that same section is a link for, I don't know if it says Chafee Online Writing or if it says COW, but you click on that and that takes you to those online DLAs. Let's see, participation. We're an online class, so obviously I don't take roll. You have points for everything you do in this class though, and we'll get to that in a couple of pages. What will I learn? You can read that on your own. What services at Chafee can help me succeed? Make sure you read these. They're really good, really helpful. Student Success Centers, all the phone numbers and times you need to use those Success Centers. And you can go there for things like tutoring as well as the workshops and the DLAs. How to succeed in online English 1A. Read this on your own. I want to draw your attention to the highlighted portion right in the middle of the page where it says set up a study schedule. Budget enough time for reading, writing, and researching for this class and for all your other classes and activities. Also make sure you budget enough time to do like recreational activities, like sleep, right, or hanging out with your friends. The standard formula is 2 to 3 hours of homework for every unit of class. It's a 3-unit class, right? So 6 to 9 hours of work for this class alone. So just sort of have that in your mind. It's not like you'll check in for 10 minutes once a month or something and then you're done. You will be putting in some time, just like any other class. Read the rest of this. At the bottom, it says, this is a contract with myself, right? So read it, sign it. You don't have to give it to me. You don't have to prove to me that you signed it. This is you saying, yes, I want to get an A in this class. I will pass this class. On the next page, you can keep track of your assignments and the points for all of your assignments. Right? The first essay, the first 2 essays are worth 15% of your grade. The third essay is worth 20% of your grade. It's a little bit longer. Participation, it's broken into 3 sections, so 80, 80, and 70 points. For a total of 230 points, or 23%. Other assignments and supplemental learning for a total of 1,000 points, or 100%. And then we have some due dates, descriptions. Ultimately, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but make sure that you read these. Participation, so these are things that you're doing. Basically, participation is like group work, anything that's going to be interactive, you and other students. So if you have to do something like a blog or a wiki or a forum post, do that by Wednesday at the latest. Do it by Wednesday at the latest. That way people can respond, because it's a group activity, right? Other people need to respond to what you've done. So everything's due on Friday, but if you wait until Friday to post your first posting, then no one can respond to you, and so now you can't complete it. If nobody responds to you, or if you don't have time to respond to other people, you don't get full credit for that. If you are always posting late, like you're always on Thursday or Friday, your grade will go down a little bit. You'll start to get fewer points for that participation. So you want to do it at least by Wednesday at the latest. Your essays and your peer responses, again, those are group activities, so Wednesday would be a great time to post those so your peers can respond to you. Your final drafts. Final drafts are due on Friday, the same with your other assignments, so things like your key terms. You'll have key terms with all the chapter readings, or questions with a lot of the readings, like the comprehension questions. Those things will be due on Friday at noon at the latest, but you can turn them in a whole 7 days early. Right? So don't postpone, don't put it off. The thing that I want to tell you about essays, if you turn in an essay early enough, I can read it, I can give you some comments, I can give it back to you, and if it's still early enough that you can do some revising before Friday at noon, right, the deadline, then by all means revise it and get it back to me. But if you wait until Friday or until Thursday night to turn it in, then you're not really going to have time to revise it. You don't have to, so you don't have to turn it in early. You can just turn it in Friday by noon and you'll be fine. Supplemental learning, kind of already talked about that. Just make sure you do it. It's 3 hours or 3 activities, and it's worth 3% of your grade. So if you're getting like 80%, you're feeling really good, like I'm getting an A or I'm getting a B, and then the last day of class I put in those 3 points and you don't have them, your grade's going to drop 3 points. So don't be that student who forgets to do your supplemental learning. I always have students forget. Don't be that student. Let's see, some other tips. Please print out the text that I post on Moodle. The syllabus, the readings, the handouts, print it all out. A couple of reasons. One, I want you annotating everything. I want you writing, highlighting, questioning everything. That's the way to engage with your work. Even the lecture, the thing I'm saying right now, I really hope you're taking down notes and writing things. That way you sort of are interacting and thinking about what I'm saying instead of just sitting there on your phone, right? Like yeah, I got the lectures going. I can hear it, but you're somewhere else. You want to make sure to have that sort of self-control, right? To be present. And to make yourself be present because no one's in that room with you, right, making you take notes. Another reason I want you to print things out is because if you just look at everything on the screen, it's a killer on your eyes. If you're spending 12 hours a week, or probably a whole lot more for all these other reasons that you're looking at a computer screen, it's just, it hurts. So print things out. You'll be happy that you did. And finally, keeping your text in a folder, it's a good organizational strategy. Let's see, some other tips. Take notes. Kind of already said that. And finally, the discussions, the activities, they're only as interesting as you make them. If you sort of half-ass everything and your classmates sort of half-ass everything, then you're going to think, this class sucks. But whose class is it, right? It's your class. I can only do so much, so you need to sort of give your thoughts, your ideas, be engage with your classmates, and this could be a really incredible class. So now we finally get here to our schedule, right? Our driving question, thing that's sort of going to move this whole class forward. How does rhetoric help communities create a transformation and make a turn towards social justice? What are the limits of rhetoric to provide social justice? We will try to answer these questions over the next 18 weeks using a variety of texts, including visual texts as well as written texts. So weeks 1 through 7, how does discussion move a community towards social justice? So that's our more specific question. Some related questions that we're going to talk about. What is rhetoric, right? You can't talk about rhetoric without knowing what it is. What is social justice? Is it possible for discussion to help people make a turn toward actual justice? Can justice be achieved from the bottom up, like through the people, the citizens, or can it only be achieved top down, like through government rules or corporate regulations? Learning goals. So on all of each section, we're broken into 3 sections, you'll see the related questions and the learning goals, as well as a specific sort of limited driving question. The learning goals for our first 7 weeks: how to find the main idea and supporting evidence of text, how to structure and develop expository writing, so on and so forth. You can read those. Okay, so our readings and handouts. So now we actually get to what it is we're going to be doing. Every week, I have in as much detail as I could come up with before the class actually starts, what we're going to be reading, what the lectures are going to be about, and what the assignments and activities are. So it's all here on your syllabus. That's why you want to look at the syllabus often. So this week, right, we're on August 18th to the 22nd. Print and read your syllabus. And then watch this lecture that you're watching right now. And then you're going to go on Moodle, and you're going to introduce yourself, and you are going to meet Moodle. So you're actually going to look through Moodle and sort of get to know our page a little bit better. There's all sorts of things that I've put on Moodle. You might notice these little things that look like 1P, 1A, 1P, 2A, 1A, 1A, next to all of your assignments and activities. You might be thinking, what in the world does that mean? It's sort of a notation that I put for myself when I was calculating your participation points and your other activities points. And then I thought, I'll just leave them, it'll help you as well. So what that is it's how many points everything is worth. So it's 1 percentage point, right? Introduce yourself. That's worth 1 percentage point of your participation grade. So if you skip that, you've gone from a 100% to a 99% already on day 1, right? You can't get that percentage point back. Another way to think about them in terms of points, so it's worth 10 points, right? 1,000 points, 100%. Meet Moodle, 1 percentage point, right, or 10 points, and that goes towards your activities. So your how many points was the activities worth again? So participation is 23%. The other assignments 24%. So that builds up those grades, right? And if you sort of flip the page, you see when our first major essay is due. I highlight that in red to really stand out. And then you've got the next section 2 with another driving question: how does visual rhetoric and art move a community towards social justice? And then the last one is empty, right? It says, ask a limited inquiry question of your own about rhetoric and its relation to social justice. So you might as well start thinking about it now. What do you want to do, right? What do you want to talk about? I'll give you ideas as we're going throughout the semester of some really interesting things that I think, that sort of stand out to me that you might want to write about or do research about. But section 3, it's going to be all you. It's going to be all on your blog, on WordPress, your own question, your own related questions. And yeah, that's our syllabus. So let's see, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, so office hours. You might notice I don't have office hours. I'm an adjunct professor, not a full-time tenured professor, so I don't have an office. Email me anytime. I'll try to get back to your emails as soon as I possibly can. Let's see. I guess we're kind of at the end of this lecture. So when this lecture is over, what I want you to do is, on Moodle, complete the assignment titled Introduce Yourself. There should be, hopefully I've gotten to it by then, my introduction where I introduce myself. It's in the section titled Week 1. It should take you 5 to 15 minutes. depending on how much thought you put into it. Then look around Moodle for about 30 minutes, and then complete the journal activity titled Meet Moodle. That'll take you about 10 minutes to complete. Remember, you have until noon on Friday to complete these 2 assignments. Right? After noon, that's it. You don't get points for them. And let's see, your next step is to buy the textbook from the bookstore on campus. They usually have lots of options. They rent books, they have used books. If you're worried about annotating on rented books, go ahead and ask them, like, hey, can I annotate on these when you buy the book? I believe you can. I know you can write on a book that you purchased and still sell it back as a used book. It doesn't change the value of it at all. So write in your books, annotate, annotate, annotate. If you're really uncomfortable with it, then buy a whole lot of Post-it notes and stick those in your books and write on those. Let's see. You can also find textbooks online for a lot less money. This is a brand new textbook, so you might not find very many of them online. Next year you'll find hundreds of these, but they just came out with this book. It's pretty new. If you do find it online, make sure the ISBN is correct. The ISBN is on our syllabus. It's a first edition of the book, so you don't need to worry about edition numbers. Then you need to complete the reading. Then you need to complete the reading listed under week 2 on your syllabus. Next week, the assignments will open for week 2. Once you've completed the reading, listen to the lecture, complete the forum discussion by Wednesday, do the assignments listed under week 2. If you have not completed the first 2 activities by Friday at noon, our activities, the Introduce Yourself and the Meet Moodle, so those 2 activities for week 1, if you haven't done them by Friday at noon, I'm assuming you've dropped the class. So I will drop you from the class. I will remove you. You'll no longer be able to get on Moodle. So make sure you do those first 2 activities. You don't need the book to do them, so there really should be no excuses. Remember, there's lots of computers all around Chafee's campus. So if something happens to your computer and it breaks, mine broke. I don't have it right now. I know how horrible it is. There's computers on campus at all the success centers, the library, so use those. And that's it. So I'm happy to meet you, and hopefully I will be hearing from all of you soon, and I will be reading your Introduce Yourself journals, and I'll know you as well as maybe you know me. So have a lovely day. Goodbye.